Hello, everyone. This is Tony Moore. I decided to do something a little different, with regards to flipping the show and calling it More Legal Drama. First, I always wanted to bring out some more legal drama. One, because I'm Tony Moore, hostess with the mostest. And two, because I truly believe that most people are not going to go to a school and learn about law unless you really want to be a lawyer. And most people aren't going to learn about law even if they don't want to be a lawyer and they want to start a business or sell a business or buy a business or even inherit a business unless there's a lawsuit. Then all of a sudden everybody has a lot of questions. Or maybe that was me when I was a litigator, but she's no longer a litigator, okay? She does a lot of more transactional work, and I do a lot of work with my business owners and things of that nature. And I do a lot of edutainment, right? Because of the fact that, it's not what I say to people, but it's how they listen or they remember or what they're used to. And let's keep it real. Okay, come closer. Just listen to me, Black people. Most of us have been cultivated to be appreciative of celebrities, entertainers, and athletes, all right? Not necessarily about going to school, get a good job, being a lawyer, being a doctor, being an accountant. Those were for nerds, right? But I love law so much that I just get a chance to have this conversation with my people about the legal issues, like literally like snatching headlines, so I can teach you the strategies that you can appreciate so that when it comes to you and legal, you don't get got to. I'm just saying, right? I woke up like this for real. So today, as a teaser on my social media at Tony Moore ESQ, I told my peoples that we were going to talk about privacy. Because when I was looking up some news and I was looking for some pretty interesting things when it came to business and it came to law, when it came to headlines, what's making the headlines? Of course, shooting and killing, always making the headlines with regards to all of the bad stuff. But guess what? There's more people out of prison than there are in prison. There are more people trying to get the most bang for their buck than it is waiting in the welfare lines. There's more people trying to figure out how to keep their business and make it bankable, as opposed to someone who's just trying to say, I don't want to do this and I want to work for pennies on a dollar, right? So when we do more legal drama, of course, it's always about just using edutainment to share legal strategies so that you can appreciate the legalities governing your realities. So today we're going to talk about privacy. One, because so many people ask me about it with regards to the privacy. Two, because I do a lot of copyrights for my musicians and my celebrities. They, of course, want to know about their privacy and copycats who are trying to take their copyright. And then three, because people take pictures on social media, and I don't know about you, but sometimes people's selfies look real good. But when I was going through the legal headlines today and this whole weekend, because I was like, I need something dramatical. Didn't find anything dramatical, but I definitely did find something with regards to privacy interests. And this is what happened. Let me just set it up for you. So someone, and I'm going to use a little edutainment so that even if it's your business, it's not your business when I'm done. So someone saw a picture of them and they were like, you know what, I'm going to take this picture, right? And they took a hot picture of themselves. But then one of their haters, their player haters, they took a picture of them when they was looking kind of crazy. And so the other person took that picture and they posted it on social media of the person, one, without their permission. All right. So it's a picture of another person posted on social media without a person's permission. Side issue. I have kids. One is like 16 and the other's 13. Ever since the 13-year-old was 10, he used to be like, I don't approve of that picture on social media. That is my copyright. Okay, little boy. Well, anyway, so this woman did not see that her frenemy had taken this picture and it was posted on social media. It was getting a lot of hits because she was kind of looking ugly. Okay, I'm just saying. So, and someone saw it and they was like, oh my God, I'm going to use this picture in a dating app. And the dating app was kind of like, sort of like edutainment, like what not to date, what you're not going to get from a dating app, right? And that was kind of rude, right? And then the person didn't know, but then they start getting a glimpse. And to make it so bad, on top of that, oh my goodness, guess what had happened? Somebody else saw the picture and was like, oh, that's kind of ugly. That's a fugly picture. I'm going to use it for erectile dysfunction. Okay, be like, if you got to get a drip with this, then you need our medicine. I'm just saying, I'm just adding a little edutainment value to it, right? So the person found out about it. She was very upset which I would have been. Like, you, if you want to take a picture, take one where the highlights is looking good. And, you know, maybe I got my face beat by a makeup artist in Philly. Hey, no, they got the ugly picture, right? They got the ugly picture. And so now the person wants to sue all of the social media people for allowing someone to post a picture. First of all, think about that. It would be great as a former litigator. Of course, we want to sue the people with the deepest pockets, which would be Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. But then at the end of the day, were they responsible? I'm sure somewhere in their privacy notice, in their terms of use notice, they pretty much are saying something like, you uploading these pictures and everything else like that, we're not policing them, we're not adding value to them, we're not taking them away, unless you're like Donald Trump, I'm just saying, who got banned from Facebook for another 2 years. I'm just saying. So obviously there are some policing. And then sometimes people do get a little, you know, they post horrific situations, and Facebook would censor it. So we understand that. But what about a picture that a friend of me took of you when you weren't looking hot, you wasn't even looking good, and they posted it on social media, and not one, but two other companies, not one, but two other companies posted that ugly picture of you, and they making money off of it. So who would you sue? Who would you sue? You know, that would be something that I really want us to have that conversation about. You can definitely, because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I can be the litigator and the instigator, but you the jury, right? And I want you to also understand that my goal is also to snatch headlines so that I can teach you and not pressure you, but I can do that too, but teach you about like the legal issues that you can spot, right? So while we're waiting for people to add value to this conversation, I want you to know that there is a tort for invasion of privacy. And that is that you would go to a plaintiff's attorney. Your girl is not a plaintiff's attorney, but that is an opposite of an insurance attorney. So it would be a plaintiff's attorney, and you would go to the plaintiff's attorney, and you would have to show some level of damages. The more damages, the more issues, the more problems. Like maybe you can't eat and you can't sleep. People are contacting you all the time. You're getting these erectile dysfunction notices, or the other person with the dating apps, and you're actually trying to get on Tinder and they got your ugly picture and not your good picture. That's a problem. That's a disruption in your livelihood, where you definitely have to be mindful of the fact that people have privacy, right? We all have a right to privacy, and we all have a right to those pictures. Now, I also need you to understand that the person who took the picture, the friend of me, right, who's probably not a friend anymore, but probably didn't care because they took the picture and they posted it on social media with bad intentions, but they took the picture, and the person who takes the picture owns the copyright. Did you know that? I'm just saying. So the person who knocked the picture up, so I remember a few months ago, someone had contacted me because she's a photographer, and she's aspiring to be a celebrity photographer. And she pretty much was like, Tone, I need a contract that says that you can't use my picture that I take of you without my approval. And I said, well, who's your audience? Who's your clientele? They was like, oh, author, speaker, coaches. But I've been noticing that people take my pictures and they use it for other things. Oh, do you have an agreement right now? She said, no. So before you get all ruffled, I need you to understand the person who takes the picture, they can approve or disapprove. And ideally, there's an understanding. Usually when people take my picture, there's an understanding that they're taking my picture. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm a lawyer, you know, I'm an edutainer. Hey, y'all, hey, you know, and so I'm going to use the pictures for promotional. But what if I turned around and used the pictures as a book cover, right? Is that a violation of a contract that was never agreed to? Well, here's the thing. If I'm paying to get my picture taken and there is no limitations on the part of the photographer, then the general presumption is that I use this picture as I use this picture. And even the person who took the picture, the fugly picture, even the person who took that awful picture, they're the copyright owner of that picture. So technically, if there was a takedown, if the person in the picture had asked social media, such as maybe Instagram or Facebook, to take it down, then they would want to know, well, who is the copyright owner? Generally speaking, the person who takes the picture is the copyright owner, unless there's an agreement where there's a transfer of the copyright from the person who took the picture to the person who is the picture of, and with regards to it. Now, ideally, there would be a conversation, and it wouldn't have to be going back and forth with a third party when you got your alleged friend who did something awful, and then you have other people. Now, let's go on to with the social media. What about the companies that use that picture? Well, everybody, you know, you don't even have to call for this, but everybody already knows that if you use someone's likeness, maybe you don't, because some people, I'm on social media and I see a lot of business owners using like Beyonce's picture. Ice Cube shut it down.com with somebody recently using his picture for a commercial value, right? And for without their license, without their approval, you know, because at the end of the day, a copyright is an asset. It's property. It's intellectual property that most people don't think about until maybe there's a lawsuit. Like I have another client, she recently got a notice from someone, and I'm not sure if this person is legit. I'm not sure if the law firm is legit, but she got a notice because she runs a business, and one of her, not employees, but it was a volunteer that was definitely working on behalf of my client, had used a picture that was taken by a photographer. Well, the photographer is represented by a copyright company and a law firm who shuts down everything. So if you didn't think or appreciate what I was talking about initially, I want you to understand that that copyright, that picture that's on social media, now the person probably won't be able to shut down social media with regards to Facebook or Instagram where it was uploaded. But the other commercial companies with regards to the dating match, that'd be like, if you only dating this and you need then you need our help. Well, they're getting money, they're getting compensation. They use that picture for commercial value, but for that picture they probably wouldn't have used it because of course they want to bring to issue that sometimes you may meet people who are not attractive and maybe you need help with a dating app, right? So that's something that you definitely need to be mindful of with regards to, you know, the copyright. The other company, obviously, with regards to the erectile dysfunction, that's a problem. You know, yeah, I said a problem, right? It's a problem because of the fact that once again, it's a company using someone's picture without their permission. Now, if the person sues and she shuts it down.com, then the question would become what damages. Well, she got some emotional distress. There was a problem. She couldn't eat. She couldn't sleep. She had to go to a psychiatrist for at least 7 weeks, y'all. I'm just saying, I'm not schooling you on it, but don't be saying that, you know, I was upset and now I need $100 million. But there has to be some level of damage from the person's illegal act to what happened, what resulted from another person's illegal activity, right? So I need you to always be mindful of that. Now, Tony, you're like, but I'm not a photographer. Well, what if you're a musician, right? I can't sing, but I write music that charts. And, you know, I sometimes have beats in my head that I literally like speak into the mic, and then I'm in the studio and I tell the musician, who happens to be my husband, I'm just saying, what I need to hear on the track. Well, technically, who owns it? Because once again, that music is an asset under copyright law. Who owns it? And God forbid, if somebody heard the beat, liked the beat, they heard the beat and liked the beat, and then they turned around and was like, yo, I'm going to use that on my social media. It's the same thing with regards to the picture, because the person who creates is the person who gets covering by legal, right? I need you to understand the person who creates. So if they created it, if you created music, I create music, we create. And I'm not letting you know right now, I mean, some people got sued. I'm just saying, some people got sued when they bring in their musicians, they bring in vocalists who add a little flavor that changes up the music, and you don't give them credit. And I'm not talking with regards to credit, with regards to, hey girl, hey, that's so good. No. You're not getting money off of that. You have to do split sheets and agreements and things of that nature. What does that look like? And there has to be a conversation. Kind of like the picture people, like we knew that was shade, so it's going to go down, it's going to be a problem, right? But when you start transferring your copyright into other mediums, such as music, you take your idea, you conceptualize an idea, and then you put it into a medium like a recordation, then who owns it? What about the people who input? I tell people all the time, like at the end of the day, I don't want nobody touching anything. I don't want anybody singing on my mics or whatever without getting some paper. And I'm not just talking about non-disclosure agreements. I'm just saying, because you know, people in social media want to take a picture of themselves, want to be like, hey, I'm in the studio, or I'm doing this and I'm doing that, before you're even ready to release or negotiate or even to sell your medium, your copyright to someone else, right? So you got to know these things and protect these things, even though it's invisible. Like most people don't understand it, but if you're a business owner who is like bringing in models with pictures, you need some non-disclosure agreements, and you're bringing in the photographer, you need some independent contractor agreements to let them know at the end of the day, I'm paying this because I want to own the copyright. I don't want no shade. I don't want no beef. Something comes up, this picture blows up, or I decide to use it and put it from a catalog to a menu, or then I want to turn around and put these fine models on my social media. I want no beef. Okay. Like at the end of the day, without that agreement, I tell people all the time, the conversation, you need the conversation before litigation. You need the conversation before a cease and desist notice. You need a conversation before the picture is taken. You need a conversation before the music is made, okay? Because someone once said whenever the music is played, somebody is getting paid. And I was like, yeah, but if you don't get paid because you don't have the paper, if you don't get paid because you didn't negotiate, if you don't get paid because you didn't understand that what you brought to the table was valuable, and it was a part of a nonverbal contractual agreement where you're also having a conversation to somebody about whether your input, your work, your je ne sais quoi, right, was valuable or something that they could just piecemeal off of. Valuable or something that people can like just be like pick and choose and sample. Valuable or somebody be like, oh, it's the 7-second rule. First of all, there is no 7-second rule. Like we started with the picture, but now we're talking about copyright, right? When it comes to music, when people be like, oh, I don't own the rights to it. Of course you don't own the rights to it. You wasn't in the studio. You did not write the music. You did not bring in the musicians. You did not have to like shop the deal around. You did not have to hire the photographer to make it look good or the videographer. You didn't do any of that, so you don't own the rights. And guess what? Come closer. Listen closely. You don't own the rights, nor do you saying on social media, I don't own the rights to it, make it a difference. And it's not fair use, especially when you are having Facebook Lives or Instagram Lives, or especially when you are doing your virtual events and you're using other people's copywritten material, you know, for your own good, as you know, that's a problem. I mean, Nicki Minaj had to answer to Tracy Chapman, right? When she was like, well, I don't care what you say, I'm gonna still sample it, and she got shut down. See, you don't want to get shut down. You want to know what you need to know before you need to know it. And conversation should always come before litigation. Conversation about who owns it, conversation with regards to placement, conversation with regards to split sheets, conversation with regards to, you know, how you're going to get paid, conversation with regards to will you get some royalties, will you get some back end, and conversation with regards to what if you start using these derivatives and someone wants to exploit into like a soundtrack, or you want to exploit into movie deals, or you want to exploit into areas, or what if somebody want to take your best words, okay, your best words, and you know, and then make a t-shirt out of it. They didn't even give you an opportunity to expand your brand. They didn't even give you an opportunity to create something from the brilliance that was within you. Maybe because we didn't understand the value of our intellectual property. Maybe we didn't understand the same way a picture photographer sues superstars all the time. One of the guys, he's the steak guy, he does the glitter. He was doing, you can't see me, but I'm doing the glitter thing like bling, because he was doing the steak and he was looking good, and then he had that little sparkle sprinkle or whatever. Well, he's being sued right now. He's being sued by the photographer because a photographer took his picture and it was only supposed to be for an ad or proposal. It was a set thing, but he was like, yo, this picture is so hot. I'm putting it on my menu. I'm putting it on the coolers that I'm selling in the store. I'm putting it on t-shirts. You know, this is my brand. This is what I'm doing. I need you to understand. that the photographer is in his right. And most photographers like, yes, tell him, tell him, tell him. And I can understand why the guy who is the artist, the main center of attention, because let's keep it real, the photographer don't matter. Yeah, I could have taken that picture of that guy, you know what I mean? Because he was hot, he's good looking, and he made cutting up steak look real good. I'm just saying, right? You see his jiffies on social medias and things of that nature. He wasn't shouting out, he wasn't clapping back and doing all this other stuff, but the photographer clapped back. The photographer's like, I don't want you to just let people know you don't own the rights to it and see the photographer. I want more than accreditation. I want a check, you know? And most people need to understand that that's what the rules are, right? And most people who understand it most are the creators. Hey, to my creators, shout out to y'all who understands. You be like, put a respect on my creativity. Don't copy my stuff. Don't rob and duplicate me, and don't clone me. Let me be the genius of that zone. Let me be the superstar of that brand. Speaking of which, we're going to, since we're talking about pictures and we're talking about music, we might as well talk about our course creators. Shout out for the course creators who have learned to bankroll your brilliance in business, right? I'm a course creator myself. We have the Legally Chic Bootcamp. I'm the course creator. We have a nonprofit masterclass where I don't always have to be teaching and being in the room and taking class notes and going on discussion boards like I did for 10 years at Eastern University, hey, or when I was over at Temple University. Don't have to do that anymore. But let's have a conversation with regards to the course creators. Once again, if you create it, you own it. If you create it now, as a lawyer and as a smart lawyer who knows that if you need to shut somebody down.com for cloning or copywriting or robbing and duplicating and exploiting your terms in agreement with regards to your course creation, you need to go to registration, okay? Easy breezy done, copyright.gov, copyright.gov. I'm gonna say that one more time, copyright.gov, where you can definitely go and you can upload your creativity. Because if someone wants to clone you, you gotta show ownership that you were the first one, right? We already know for music, if you want to get a sample, you go to harryfox.com, you go to Harry Fox, and Harry Fox would try to help you contact the original owner so that y'all can broker a deal, the original owner or the representative, even like their estate. Someone recently said, well, this person is dead. I was like, it doesn't matter. Copyright is for 70 years plus life. It's life plus 70 years. So even if that person died like 2 years ago, right? Their life term is over, but now they started the count of the 70 years. So don't think that just because somebody is dead that you can rob and duplicate them, that you can capture coins by cloning them. You cannot do that, okay? If you didn't create it, the best thing that you can do is have a conversation as a preclusion of litigation and be like, yo, I like this. Can I white label it? That's what we call it in the coaching industry. Can I white label it? Meaning, can I sell some of your stuff and provide it in my classroom? Not like back in the day when people were teaching and they didn't say, I don't own the rights to it, but they would have like, I'm aging myself, but thank God for age, right? But in the 90s, when I was at University of Penn, and they would have duplicates of somebody's book, we had to pay for the duplicates, but we didn't have to pay for the book. Technically, duplicating somebody's book, opening up somebody's book and just page after page after page, and then turning around, making Xerox of it, copying it, and then turning around and selling it at the University of Penn bookstore, that was illegal. I'm just saying. But, I'm not the copyright police unless in my family. I'm just saying. So what do you do when that happens? Well, I always tell my clients to, as soon as they finish their ebook, as soon as they finish their real book, as soon as they have their course, I want you to go to copyright.gov. You can do it on your own or you can pay someone, right? It's a little easier when you are the only author. A lot harder when you got your mama in them, because it's crazy. But I'm gonna let you know right now, if people are adding to it, because I do know someone who almost got sued by her editor because the editor was like, oh, you need to put me on the byline too, because I was adding so much to it. I said, wait, you didn't have a conversation? You didn't have a conversation about what they're going to do and what your expectations are? No. Well, guess what? My clients had to pull it off the market because we didn't want she didn't want no heat. She didn't want any heat from the person who was supposed to edit her book, who ended up putting allegedly, because I didn't read the book, allegedly 50% more to beef it up. Now, there is a conversation for that. And that should have been a conversation that was also turned around into writing, where there was an understanding with regards to, I wrote the book, you edited the book, you added some beef and flavor to the book. I'm paying you for your brilliance, but I want you to assign over, because remember, the person who creates is the person who, as far as the copyright laws are concerned in the United States, that's the person who owns. So you either have a conversation with regards to the credits, with regards to how these people are going to be credited. You have a conversation with regards to maybe it's a book collaboration deal where, in the hood, we just call it ghostwriting, but some people call it a book collaboration deal. And how is that other person going to be identified? Or will they not be identified? And will they be heavily compensated for that, right? Because in this creative genius zone, you have to understand that even though it's invisible, honey, you can derive income from it. The best thing I ever did was to bankroll my brilliance in business. The best thing I ever did, I got out of that sweat equity mindset and was able to get myself into a better place, in a space with regards to making money while I sleep, right? So I want you to understand and appreciate what is also available as well with regards to it, right? What else is available as well with regards to the protection? And we're having this conversation because lately, some people have been doing a little bit more than just sampling other people's material. Not just the picture, not just the music, but sampling their research, taking pieces of their books and teaching it to their class, saying, oh, I didn't write it, but this is what I learned. Even literally robbing and duplicating someone else's work. Like, they'll take their class and then they'll take all of their information and then they'll wrap it up and then they'll create a duplicate version of that class, sometimes with the same name, and then make money off of it. I get people, especially, they're like, oh, my coach did that to me. My coach took my stuff, and I was submitting it and they took my stuff. Sometimes professors do that with regards to their researchers. They take their researcher stuff and then they put it into their book or their manual or something like that, which is, it depends. Because, when it comes to legal, it depends, right? It depends on the facts and the circumstances. Always remember that. It's always about the facts. It's always about the circumstances. The facts with regards to, was there a conversation? Was there an understanding? Was it in writing? Would they have an MOU? What changed in the situation? You know what I mean? Why is the person mad now? Facts and circumstances. But even in the midst of it all, most people just don't know. Like, sometimes people get their assets took, because they didn't know. I don't want you to be that type of person to get your assets took because you didn't know. No, you got to seek to know. Okay. And yeah, you might have to pay a lawyer fee, but guess what? That whatever you have to pay is going to be far cheaper than the litigation that's going to cost you. Okay. And litigation, people, when they be like, Tone, I need to do a copyright litigation. Okay. This is the retainer fee. Whoa, why so much? Because I'm going to be stuck in this case for about 2 years. And she don't work for free. Oh, Tone, why so much? With regards to another thing that I do, intellectual property, with regards to trademarking, because of the fact that the courts ain't going to let me get out the case so easily. There may be a couple of deadlines. I may have to work for you. And your girl has learned. Because back in the day, I used to be a bankruptcy attorney, okay? And my little dumb assets, okay? I can tell on myself now, because these things I used to do, I don't do no more. Things I used to do. But back in the day now, I would be like, okay, I'll help you in bankruptcy and let people put a deposit. And then after bankruptcy, you already know I couldn't get paid. You already know, right? You know why I couldn't get paid? Just in case you don't know bankruptcy law. Once someone files a bankruptcy, anybody who they owe money to, including the dumb asset attorney who just wanted to help somebody to stop them from getting a fine, foreclosure of their home, they could have did it out the kindness of their heart. But people, and because we know people, because we got a degree in peopleology, I'm just saying, peopleology, we got a degree, we already know that people will clone what they don't own. They will rob and they will duplicate. They will utilize whatever flips their boat for their time and their purpose, even if it is against the law. Because sometimes people are like, well, they're going to have to catch me, okay? Because here's the thing. I also have another client, pretty hot, pretty amazing. I'm like, yo, you are fabulous on Instagram. You are running the darn thing. You got over 100,000 followers. This person is in talks for a show and all that other stuff. And then somebody decided, I'm liking the picture. Somebody decided to snatch her picture, right? Snatch a picture and use it for something else. And she was like, what can I do? Well, the thing about it is, it's her picture. So we was able to contact Instagram, and you can contact Instagram. They have links. If you get inboxed by quote unquote Instagram or somebody who said copyright infringement, you need to seek to know what the official links are, and then you respond to the official links, not somebody's inbox, because more than likely it's just like somebody about to do something, some damages. They about to do some damages, right? If I was a singer, I was about to say, got to do some damages, but I'm not a singer. I just write songs that short, you know. But anyway, so I said we're going to contact the person who posted it. We're going to send them a takedown notice. So we also contacted Instagram to apprise them that my client did not give someone permission to utilize their picture for their commercial purposes. And if you say, well, Tone, all this is for commercial. I know you a bad asset IP attorney who is a business lawyer, but I'm not in business, so I just be taking people's pictures. It's still illegal, okay? Is if you didn't take the picture, or if you're not the subject of said picture, then you should not be utilizing other people's pictures without their permission. Similarly, if you did not create the music, okay, I'm sure you got plenty of musicians who can come up with some little jingle for your Facebook lives or your Instagram lives or whatever, or you can go to Harry Fox and contact the original owners or something, or get royalty free music. You just pay a fee. Okay, now there is a licensing and terms of use, because there is that contract, is that conversation that helps you to avoid litigation. So if you're getting royalty free music, then it's no problem. And I can tell when people listen, because certain countries don't play no games, you know. Like I'd be like, oh, like I got to notice that it was this girl was preaching. She was preaching a powerful message. It was so good. But on top of her music, her lesson, there was somebody else's music. So guess what? I had shared it, you know, I wasn't illegal with regards to it. You know, I was like, oh, this is good. Listen. So everybody could see where the original came from. It wasn't Tony Shay trying to throw some shade or perpetrate that was me, you know. And I shared the picture. I got a notice, y'all. I got a notice. They were like, oh, that picture you shared got deleted. Then I went back to listen to it, and it got muted, because apparently under Canada's law, whatever the music is that they use was illegal. Once again, she was using somebody's music, or somebody was in violation of someone else's creation. You don't want to be in violation of somebody else's creation, right? So we started with the picture with this woman who is going to be trying to sue somebody real quick with regards to someone sharing a fugly picture on social media. And that picture got more recognition than any of her cute ones. I'm just saying. As a girl myself, I'd be like, dang, this got more notoriety with me, you know, looking all fugly than with me getting my face beat. That's awful. But, you know, facts over feelings. So we're going to move on with that. Musicians, you know, you have to also understand and appreciate that. I tell people all the time, hey, before the music gets laid, somebody better sign off on a contract, right? The paper, to just get the pen and the paper, have a conversation. And guess when the best time is to have that conversation about splits, about ownership, about payment? Is before they get their coin. My thing is, get it done before they get their coin and before records get recorded, period. And if you got good, because whoever created it, they can have a moment and they be like, oh, I shouldn't even laid it like that, because they're not even going to do this and they're not going to do that, and he did this or she did that. That's all the legal drama. It's not my legal drama. It's my people's legal drama with regards to it. And then they can cease and desist on you. They can get a temporary restraining order against you. You know what I mean? So I don't want you to get in that situation. I want you to just have that conversation and have a documentation of the conversation so that you can always prevent litigation. Now, if you're going to move on into the coaching industry or you're going to start teaching, always remember that that's your intellectual property too. That's yours. The same way it's your house is yours, the same way your car is yours, the same way your clothes, your mink lashes is yours, is the same way your intellectual property is yours when it comes to creating courses. Oh yeah, it's invisible, but it's still yours. It's still monetizable. So if you're going to allow other people, one, to utilize it as a student, then you're going to always have to remember that there's going to be terms of use, terms of agreement. You can use this for your own personal business, but you can't be using my stuff for your courses and using my stuff, perpetrating like it's yours, or using my stuff and taking duplicates because your girl, you can't be doing that without an agreement. And I tell people all the time, since people go and rob and duplicate, give them an incentive to sell your stuff so that they can get money in their pockets. I'm just saying. So if they know that they can be an affiliate marketer and they'll get a certain percentage, then they're going to be less likely to steal your stuff because they're going to know that they're going to get some coins. They may even reach out to you or the author, or if you're the potential robber and duplicator and cloner, you may even think about, oh, let me reach out to the original person and see if maybe I can get a different term. I know what they say on the internet, but everything is negotiable. Okay, I need you to understand everything is negotiable before the violation. Now, people be all up in their feelings after, when they feel as though you disrespected their intellectual property, you disrespected their gifts, you disrespected their callings, you disrespected what they created, because that creating ain't easy, okay? It ain't like you got to just run over, lay down, get a 2-minute doo-wop, and then all of a sudden, no. You got to do a whole bunch of stuff to birth out the course, to birth out the song, to birth out the music, to birth out the play, to birth out the healing session, to birth out the recording before. So that's why people be getting all up in their feelings, right? So I also need you to understand that it's not just about during your lifetime. See, most of us forget that. It's unfortunate, because even Les Brown said, like, the most wealthiest place in the world is in the grave. But unfortunately, most of the wealth exchanges that get ignored, excuse me, do you know when that happens? It happens when the creators pass away and they didn't handle their business with regards to estate planning. Now, I was going to talk about estate planning, because that's one of the things that I do, because most of us we don't pass down the wealth to our children, our children's children, because one, we don't get the registration so that we can present the documentation of ownership. So we don't have those numbers with regards to copyright registration, patent registration, trademark registration that can be passed down. That's money. That's licensing, that's distribution, that's leveraging, that's coins to be made, right? So we don't do that. So we don't do the first part with regards to the registration. And we don't do the second part with regards to having a said will in place, or setting up a trust that can then hold ownership of the registrations, or setting up even a holding company that holds the registration. Like all of y'all people who like Beyonce, like your girl, right? When she has her trademarks, and I'm sure if it's for the trademark, she also does it for her copyrights. When you look at her registrations, her holding company owns that. The holding company is, one, it has the limited liability, right? Two, it can negotiate how to leverage. Oh, we're going to sync this. We're going to have a synchronization agreement with maybe a movie. Or, hey, we're going to also now leverage this into a play. Or, oh, we're going to turn around and allow people to maybe use this picture as a coloring book. Side shade. Yeah, I said it, side shade. Someone had recently said, hey, I want to do a coloring book for kids, which FYI is like a big thing apparently on Amazon.com, where people are doing coloring books for children. And I want to get all of the famous people. If you've been listening to me for even 2 minutes, you already know that that's a problem, right? Not a problem, but a problem. Because if she start utilizing other people's appearances and other people's pictures and images without their permission, then that's a violation of copyright. See how all of this links together? Even if it's invisible, you don't want to be the person that's creating the problem. You want to be the person that understands, oh, wait, there's a rule to this. There's a governance to this. There's a thing that I have to do in place of this to make sure that my people understand, one, to respect my copyright, and two, so I can respect other people's. Because I need you to understand, energy is no joke, okay? I'm an energetic person. I match energy. So if you come for me, Shay shows up. I'm just saying. But if you nice and polite or whatever, I know how to be professional. I used to say that to my students. I'm like, you gotta call me. If you coming from me, remind me I'm a lawyer. Don't come from me like I'm on the playground, because you might be surprised at what shows up. I'm just saying, I'm human too. So with regards to the copyright and the protection, always remember documentation matters, a conversation, a negotiation matters, definitely to avoid litigation. Because even if you say, well, I'm gonna do whatever, and then I'm gonna see what it looks like, and then I'm gonna negotiate on the back end, somebody can have some astronomical fee as a penalty just because. Sometimes you just be like, oh, just because you got caught, well, this is what I'm gonna make you do, or you're gonna trash all of your albums, you're gonna trash all of your coloring books, you're gonna trash all that stuff that was a violation of my brilliance, of my copyright. And if you don't, then it gets shut down. And some people have gotten shut down and they had to burn all the albums. They had to burn all the stuff. They had to burn even the books on the shelves had to get snatched up because of litigation, because there was a violation, because someone lacked the wherewithal to have a conversation or a negotiation. Okay, I'm just saying. And I don't want that to happen to us because of the fact that we're awesome, we're amazing. I tell people all the time, I'm an proud African-American woman. Wasn't always a proud African-American woman because I grew up in Harrisburg, So, on the wrong side of Harrisburg in poverty line. I wasn't always a proud person, but I grew to be a proud person while I was living in Philly since in the 1990s, right? So I've raised myself to be who I am. I've raised myself to have ownership and to be the person who I want to be, and also the person that shares some edutaining, secrets and snatching some headlines just so I can help you legalize your life, your enterprise, help you to protect your assets, to help you to appreciate the legalities governing your realities. Because if it was just a boring old book, you would not be reading it, even though you probably need to know it, especially if you're a creator, especially if you're a photographer, especially if you're a startup business, especially if you're a musician, even if you're a vocalist. Don't let somebody rape you of your brilliance, okay? At the end of the day, your brilliance matters too. And because your brilliance matters, then you're going to have voice to negotiate, because everything is negotiable. Like, I tried to take somebody's brilliance and I was like, I need this, and this. And she was smart enough. She was like, we're going to negotiate this way, and we're going to do it this way, and we're going to do it this way. And I was like, okay, no problem. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, she had the wherewithal. See, here's the thing. Law does not force people to be fair. They just force people to be legal. Not fair. No one's going to advocate for you. No one's going to pacify you. No one's going to be like, hey, girl, hey, I'm about to rip you a new one. But if you negotiate, I'm going to make sure that you get taken care of. Or no, photographer's going to be like, hey, at the end of the day, I may sue you if you go outside the lines of this agreement. Some people, their agreements are a little crazy, but you need to have that conversation about what the expectations are, and then have a conversation about what those expectations are, and then also have a negotiation with regards to, I'm going to say yes to some, I'm going to say no to some, because that's your right, as the person that you are. And so I tell people all the time, especially my husband, like, look, the only thing I got to do is stay black and die, right? And because I'm on the rise, now I just feel like I also got to just let my light shine. I got to let my love shine. I got to let other people know what they need to know so that they don't end up broke, busted, and disgusted, or spiritually bankrupt or financially bankrupt because they did not understand the rules of this business game, the rules of what to do and what not to do. See, business is a game. I don't know if you know that, but let me give you some free game with regards to business being a game. See, business is a game so much. There's rules, there's players, there's spectators, you know what I mean? There's the referees, there's the judges, there's the jury, you know, and if you don't know, you may get a chance depending on what you did or what the violation is, or maybe the violation was not as harmful. Like you taking someone's picture, you know, and you thought that, oh, I took the picture, I just uploaded it so everybody can see it. That's not as harmful as you diminishing someone and saying, oh, I'm gonna make a joke, but now this picture became like, you know, is messing a person up. They can't sleep, they can't drink. You know, that's the damage. You could do damage, and you don't want to do damage willfully. If it's willfully, then guess what? You're going to have to come out of your pockets and pay handsomely. I'm just saying. So I want you to understand and appreciate that today we talked about the picture and how this one woman is seriously thinking about a litigation. She ain't my clients, and you know, and it's already in the legal news, so I got a chance to share it. She ain't my client, it's in legal news. And because for edutainment reasons, I brought in some extra stuff, but not too much extra, but some extra stuff with regards to adding that conversation with, so that you can appreciate the you know, the depth of copyright law. You can appreciate how ownership matters, who creates matters, who takes pictures matters, who negotiates matters, you know, with the recordation. Like if there is no recordation and we just having a conversation and there's no recordation, as far as law is concerned, that's an idea. You do know that ideas are not protected, right? People are like, oh, Tony, I want to protect my idea. Then you need to get, you know, a non-disclosure agreement, and you need to put that out there, and you need to let people know what is non-disclosable and what are the terms of that non-disclosable, because law can't protect ideas. There's so many ideas. I'm a creator, and I have so many ideas that don't even come to fruition. Now, I had a vision with regards to an app that my husband helped me create. Well, actually he created it, right? And I was just like, oh, this is so amazing. I mean, I've been talking about this app for so long that he probably ignored me, right? But then it's something, he just woke up one day and just decided to handle the business. And so that, but me having that conversation in my head and putting it into the atmosphere, that wasn't protected. But now that the recordation of that app is taken care of, it's there. But guess who owns it? If you've been following me for even 2 minutes, you already know it's the creator of the app who owns the copyright. Now the question is, here's the thing. The question is, for all of you apps and software, first of all, developers, you already know that somebody's going to already bring you into their business. They probably can't afford to pay you $1 million, $2 million. So they probably be like, as a negotiation for you creating the app and as for negotiating for you updating the app, then we want to give you 5%. You need to know what 5% looks like. You need to know what their business valuation look like, and you need some money up front, okay? Because I don't ever want you to get into a situation that my husband learned the hard way about creating something for somebody, and they said, thank you so much. 8 hours in the studio, and one of the agreements was upon placement. We don't know if it was placed or not, because it's not like we tracked it, but upon placement. I was like, next time, now this was years ago, because you know I am definitely like a comma check queen right now, so we don't have that conversation. It's not a problem. When people are like, do you charge for this? Yes, I do, you know. But with regards to him, you know, and other people, when he's creating software, I'm like, you gotta have a conversation with regards to what part of your copyright you're going to transfer over to them, and what part would you give them a lease to. You know what I mean? A lease, and that's called license and distribution. What does that lease look like? And if they can't afford it, then what conversation would you have? Because remember, the conversation, the negotiation to alleviate litigation. You don't want to just be like flipping over the table, because every time people remind me, well, Jesus flipped over the table. But that was one time, okay? He ain't keep flipping over the table. I'm just saying. So you got to have that emotional intelligence to be like, oh, people are already going to try to rip me off. They already going to try to rob and duplicate me. They're already going to try to pimp the brilliance out of me. So I have to safeguard. I got to protect. I got to know. So those are the conversations that you got to have as well, as the creative that you are. You know, I know we creators, we like, you know, I don't know about y'all, but you know, I'm a lawyer, but I also like sparkle, and my favorite color is pink mixed with black. I'm just saying, you know, so marbleized pink. But I need you to also understand that we can't always be thinking of pink and glitter. No, this is a real world. This is a game. And we can't be playing a football game when there's basketball during the basketball season, right? And you got to appreciate the game. You got to appreciate the players. You got to appreciate the regulators. You got to appreciate fines and penalties. And you got to appreciate what you could do, that you can either get a tech foul or you can foul out. See, those are the rules of the game. So I just want my people to play a smarter game. And the only way to do that is to catch your attention, have a conversation about what's in the headlines, and then strategize and have a conversation about what you need to do so that you don't end up on the other side of the courtroom. I'm just saying, because that is costly, right? And I tell people all the time, litigation ain't no joke. The attorney is going to get a retainer fee. Now, somebody was like, what about 40%? I know attorneys. Well, you just know plaintiff's attorneys because you are creating a business. Do you really want to give your attorney 40% of your take home for the next 5 years? No. Do you really want to give an attorney 40% royalty for, you know what I mean? Because if I want the royalty, you want to do the work, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to pimp you all to the hilt and back. I'm just saying. You don't want that. So everybody is not, with regards to a royalty check, everybody is not going to be asking for, like a 10% or a contingency agreement. No, because when you're in business, that is like a transaction. Every transaction is going to be an invoice. Every invoice is your choice with regards to what type of invoice you want to pay. Do you want to pay something with regards to contingency? Then find an attorney who will do that. Don't get mad if somebody be like, no, pay me first. You know what I mean? Don't get mad if somebody is like, no, that's not how we do things. Because I don't know. Sometimes people get away with it. Sometimes people are like, oh, I'll pay you with my influence. I'll pay you with my strategy. I'll pay you with my people. That's not enough. You know what I mean? Especially if your people don't know my people and my people don't know your people. So the combination of the said people is not always going to be a good thing, or at the end of the day, you just have to understand and appreciate that is yours. This is your world. This is your life, and if you're anything like me, you understand that you already have the power within you to attain wealth some kind of way. Now, your wealth measures may be different than my wealth measures, which may be different than a couple of my friends' wealth measures, who I know is different than the people who grew up on the other side of main line, their wealth measures. That's all. That is regardless of that. You just have to understand and appreciate that you're not worth less. Worth less than the next person, worth less than someone who don't look like you or talk like you, worth less than anybody in business. You're worth more than you've ever seen or heard before. You can up level your worthiness by just appreciating that what you create, you need to protect. What you use, just don't abuse, okay? And at the end of the day, appreciate the legalities governing your realities. And because business is a game, the moves you make can either hurt you or they can help you. How you up level into business, how you let your light shine, how you manifest success, that's really up to you. But today we definitely wanted to focus on copyright. We wanted to focus on the pictures. We wanted to focus on music. We wanted to focus on content. See, whether it's a picture, a music, a content, whatever you create, okay? You have to negotiate to let people know that you mean business and business, to let people know that you're not going to be pimped of your brilliance, to let people know that at the end of the day, you own this and you get a chance to bankroll this. You own it. They can't clone it without some level of agreement, some level of permission, something that you can establish as ownership for yourself, because that's your money. That's your money maker. You would be mad as hockey sticks. Like this one girl, she was like, her face was all beat. Mad as hockey sticks when she saw her picture on Amazon in a couple of stores. And it wasn't necessarily Amazon stores. You already understand that. It's not about Amazon stores, because that's just a platform that lets people, business owners such as ourselves, upload information, upload advertising and stuff like that. And these people was using that, and then they was making money from her pictures, perpetrating a fraud like she was a model for them, or perpetrating a fraud especially like she was a customer of theirs, and the resulted in the picture. You see how that conversation can lead to litigation, especially when there's no negotiation as to what is allowed, what's permissible, and what's going to be licensed for distribution. I know. You're like, oh my God, Tommy, all this from this girl? Yes. Because at the end of the day, you got to know what you need to know so that you don't get took in business. You need to know what you need to know so that you can protect yourself. And also, one of the resources we shared was copyright.gov. You could do it yourself, or you can hire someone to do it. Copyright.gov for your music, for your pictures. They allow you to, I think it's over 600 pictures that you can upload. You know, music, pictures, books, courses, plays, sound recordings, all of that can be uploaded to copyright.gov because you need the registration. You need the registration number. You need the registration receipt, which is a recording that shows that you're the owner. When you have ownership, then you have standing in court. When you have ownership and contracts, then that works for you in your best interest because it's an exhibit when people try to rob and duplicate you. So this is Toni Moore, hostess with the mostest of the More Legal Drama Show. Just wanted to come in and just snatch some headlines so that you can understand that and appreciate the legalities governing your realities. Next time, maybe we'll talk. Next time you'll have a question and you'll just call in and we can just have a dialogue so I don't have to have a monologue. But you know, your girl got the gift of gab, so I'll keep talking as long as you keep listening. So come back real soon and we will talk. Bye for now.